We have an update on how and where you can be copywriting AI generated content and using it inside of your business. This week, there was a court case with a ruling that is going to impact the future of how we are copywriting and using AI generated content. So, today we're checking in with everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called the IP Professor that's dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, we've been talking a lot about AI generated content, and this week we had a case pop up that might have implications on the future of whether or not we can actually do some legal things with AI generated content. So, what happened and how does this impact us?
Yeah, this is a really fascinating case. And for anybody that is in the publishing space, especially, this is a case that you should definitely keep your eyes peeled for and certainly read up on. So, this all stems from a graphic novel comic book that was registered in the US Copyright Office, I would say right around September or August of 2022. It was registered by an author named Christina Cashinova, who registered a graphic novel called Zarya of the Dawn. And what's unique about this comic book, this graphic novel, is that the images that are contained within this comic book, this graphic novel, were completely generated by Midjourneys, which is an AI generated software company. And like, Dolly and Stability AI, there are these companies out there that if you type in illustrate blah 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 for me, the AI software will do exactly what you ask. So if you want a cartoon drawing of a rat juggling pizza, then it's going to do that. So surely the Midjourney software, I would say, is probably one of the higher end type of AI softwares because I must say, it did a very masterful job um, illustrating these great artistic renditions that go hand in hand with the story. So Cashinova registers this comic book in the U.S. Copyright Office, and the Copyright Office initially grants full registration, no questions asked. But then they go back and they decide to revert the copyright registration number, and instead they're going to begin the process of having hearings over this specific registration, mainly because they did not know at the time that the images that are contained within this graphic novel were created by AI. So time goes by. We only got this decision about a week ago, and that was the week of February 27th, 28th. And the U.S. Copyright Office ruled that it would grant copyright protection to Cashinova for the text that she wrote, for the chapter compilation, how she staggered all the chapters of her graphic novel, basically anything that she created. It's
Okay.
the AI artwork that they said is not going to get copyright protection. So I think that there are a lot of great takeaways from this case, but I think the most prominent of them all is the U.S. Copyright Office is still standing by its core argument that it is not going to grant copyright protection for anything that is not created by a human author. Human authorship is a vital requirement that has been laid out through case law in the copyright space, is laid out in the U.S. Copyright Compendium, which operates as persuasive authority, as a guidebook, more or less. But they've made it abundantly clear. If you didn't make it, you're not going to get copyright protection. So in this case, Midjourneys created all this artwork. That's not worthy of copyright protection in the U.S. Copyright Office's eyes.
And one of the things that I found very interesting about that conversation is that originally that had been granted to them and then it was withdrawn. So, do you feel like moving forward in the future, we're going to have to do more disclosures when it comes to getting those copyright protections so that they know in advance? Or do you think we're going to start to see people pulling back some of these things when they realize what's happening?
That's a fantastic question. And I have to say, the Copyright Office's application, when you register a copyrighted work, already has that type of
Okay.
system in place. There's a section when you go through their portal, there's a section where you would have to disclaim if there's any third party material contained within the work of authorship that you're creating. So, for example, if I had made, let's say, a movie, a 1.5 hour film that features commercial music that I lawfully license. Let's say I went to a record label and a music publisher and I licensed that music. And I'm registering the entirety of the film, including the music, in the US Copyright Office. I have a duty as the registrant to disclose that there is third party material contained within it. This song, that song from this music publisher, from that record label. And essentially, what the Copyright Office wants me to, is laying the burden on me to disclaim that I don't have the copyright to that stuff, even though I incorporate it. And surely they're going to ask questions like, did you license it? So on and so forth. So then what happens is once they evaluate my application, what they're going to grant copyright protection over is just the film minus the music that's contained within it, because I don't own the copyright to that. I acquired those rights by way of licensure, but I don't have that copyright to the music itself. So all that to say, those disclaimers are contained within the application. But I have to think, given the proliferation of of AI and intellectual property, and how we're seeing all these questions come up left and right, I would have to think that the U.S. Copyright Office is going to have to revise its application to say something like, "Did your copyrighted work of authorship that you're attempting to register contain any artificial intelligence? And if so, please explain." I think that it's going to have to, meet up with the times and make that adjustment on the application side of things.
So do you feel like people can make an argument then that they felt as though they created it through the AI generator and it should be something that is kind of attributed to them rather than that AI where it stands right now without that clarification?
Yeah, I mean, I've had this debate with a few people on TikTok and Instagram, and the question comes up: well, isn't the command itself the human authorship requirement? You're telling the system to make the work for you. And the way I see it is, it's not really that simple. I mean, it's one thing if I told somebody, draw me a picture of a house with green grass. And obviously, that person then, let's say, takes a paintbrush and they start drawing a house with green grass. Obviously, based on the basic tenets of copyright law, the creator of that painting is the person that picks up the brush and starts brushing the house with green grass. In the same vein, if we're talking about AI generating artwork and you tell the AI system, draw me a house with green grass, the computer's doing the exact same thing. So I think that, commands themselves are not enough to warrant some type of substantial human involvement. What's interesting, though, kind of relating back to this case of Zarya the Dawn, the artist does say that once the Midjourneys had created all the generated artwork that was incorporated in the graphic novel, she said that she did revise the artwork slightly. She modified, touched it up a little bit with Photoshop. But even then, the Copyright Office said that mild touch-ups at that in the Copyright Office, in Photoshop, in their eyes, isn't enough to qualify as substantial human involvement. So unfortunately, I think we kind of get a gauge of what the U.S. Copyright Office says when it comes to even minor adjustments to something that was completely unequivocally created by artificial intelligence.
And I really love that conversation. So we're actually going to have a spin-off episode over on my author platform. We're going to link that down below for you when that is available. And we're going to talk about how this could impact you if you're using bits and pieces of AI generated content in the larger context of something that you are creating, and how much manipulation do you have to do, how much other artwork do you have to do in order to be able to use something and then have it potentially protected or not. So make sure you follow along over on the author platform for that one as well. As is, right now, the courts are standing by their original sentiment that AI generated content is not going to be copyrighted. And so when you're using that inside of your business, you have to be smart about how you're using it and in what context. Now, we've got lots of episodes on how this can be impacting your business. We're going to link all those down below in a playlist for you so that you do not miss out on any of these valuable resources to make sure you're legally protected when it comes to using AI generated content. But if you've got questions, if you have comments, if you have things you want to talk about in this field, please drop those questions down below. Tony is coming back for more episodes, and we want to make sure that we are legally protecting you when it comes to using this inside of your business. So drop those questions down below right now. And as always, you can hang out with Tony on his social media, where he is making sure that you understand the world of IP and entertainment so that you can thrive in this space and not get yourself sued. So Tony, where can everybody reach out to you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor, and you can check out my brand new podcast, End Scene and Entertainment Law Podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hit that subscribe and notification bell because we're going to continue to break down these cases as they happen in real time to learn how AI generated content is going to impact the future of your business. And of course, if you've got questions for Tony related to this or anything in the legal side of entrepreneurial life, go ahead and drop those down below. Tony's coming back every single week for more episodes here on the channel, and we don't want to miss your question to make sure we are helping keep you legally safe inside of the IP and entertainment space. We will see you in our upcoming episodes as we continue to help you navigate the world of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, and more, so that you can make more money online and spend less time doing it.